All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Wayne's World Garage. We're in the shop today, still working on some of these bushings for these flat pulleys, the 8-inch pulleys for the idlers for the Frick Sawmill. And actually, one of them looks really good, but the other one I built a new pin for it, which you need a new pin because the old one was kind of worn out. And now what I'm doing is I'm working on putting in this steel bushing in here. So take a look at this steel bushing here, and the steel bushing is a little bit larger diameter than the sleeve or the pin. So that way grease can get by it and stuff like that, and life is good and everyone will be happy. So what I have to do now though is this bushing has to go inside of, let me show you. The bushing has to go inside of here, okay? Except our bushing is 1.75 inches diameter, and the pulley starts off at a little bit, it's 1.6, I don't know what the hell it is, it's something. So I've got to make it bigger. So how do you make it bigger? You really need to get some different tools here to make it bigger, and I'm not exactly sure I had the right tools. I've got boring bars. Boring bars are really for the lathe, and they work pretty good on the lathe, but what I ended up doing, I bought an indexable boring bar. And an indexable boring bar, a regular boring bar is just boring because you go to the bar and they don't serve alcohol. I'm just kidding. A regular boring bar works for a lathe, does very well. Indexable boring bar, I can adjust this in and out 1/1000 of an inch. I'd like this to be a pretty tight fit without having to weld it on. So that's what we're doing. The other cool thing you'll see I've got set up is the auto feed on the Bridgeport mill. And the way this gig works is, can you see it? You can see it. So when it's coming down, it goes to a certain depth and it'll stop automatically and then it'll pop back up. Inshallah. That's what it's supposed to do anyway. So what I do is, I didn't change anything from yesterday. My cuts I'm making really shallow because I don't like the way this is mounted. But that's the way it goes. So let me get cracking here. Let me see how this looks. And I'm only taking maybe 10,000ths at a time. I've got to go at least another 100,000ths before we do anything. But if this looks good, all right. So what I will do here is this guy here comes out a little bit at a time. An inch. Gotta come to figure that out now. So I'll go to 110, and let's see. We'll probably do just a cut at 110. Going fairly slow. You pull this little doohickey out here, and if you look very carefully, this comes down automatically. So how slick is that? Slicker than you know what. Now, the good news is, since this is cast iron, it's relatively soft material, so I don't have to go nuts here on this. Regardless, I'm still taking light cuts, and I keep my hand up here because I get nervous about it crashing. And maybe I can get to see this a little bit better. Oh, it's pretty good. To me, I don't know you. And I don't know if you can see this. So I have this depth of this set to 1.5 inches, and that's when it gets to 1.5, it'll pop back up. And the reason I did that is this is 1 3/4. Still have a 1/4 inch washer sticking out on this. We'll see how that works. Get down here, click, and clips, go back up. So now you can turn it off. And now I'm just doing real rough measurements here, but just to get a rough idea where I'm at. So don't, you can say whatever you want, but don't complain about my measurements. I'm at 632. We'll call it 630. And I know I got to go to 750. Yeah, I'm at 630. So if I'm at 630 now, let me turn this out because I want to figure out a little better how this works here. I'm at 630, and I go out 10. Oops, that's the wrong way. Hold on tight. Now, a real machine shop that does engine work would have a few different tools than I do, but too bad. So I moved this dial here in 20, whatever it is. I think it's thousands. Who knows? And the Bridgeport mill has adjustable feed rates. I'm not going to joint with it, so I can go down. I've got two options: slow or medium. But I'm going to go real slow here. Like I said, the first I'm using the indexable boring bar, made in China by Chinese men, sold by Jeff Bezos. And now I know I moved out 20 here. I'm at 630. So I should be 30 plus 40, I should be about 70. So remember radius, diameter, but I don't know if it's set up that way. We're going to find out very shortly. Slicker than slick. So I was at 630, I moved it out 20. Let's see what it does. So this, well, that's interesting. Okay, I can, yep, so that's, it moved it out 40,000, so I'm at 70 now. How cool is that? So I'm at 670. So I can do, I'm going to do 20 at a time here. Yeah, I might as well do 20. I can do 25 probably, but let's just do 20 because I'm new at it. So I'm at 80. Well, that doesn't feel right to me. This keeps coming loose. I don't know why this is loose like this. Huh. So it says I'm at 60, okay. 40, wow. I'm a little bit reluctant about that. I'm not sure of that measurement. And I want this to be right, so, oops, it'll be right if we go the right way. So you probably see here what I'm saying. So I'm just checking, I am at 1.750 here. Check one more time. And these little calipers are a little bit, not calipers, micrometers are better. I'm not going to show you how to read them because it's online. But my goal here is I want to get this within 1/1000 of an inch and then be able to tighten this. I want to heat this guy up, cool this guy off and have it drop in. So that's what we're going to do. So let me see what we're at now. here. Take note, zero is this guy. Good. 0 and what colors, of course. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. Remember that number, 15. That's why I'm recording it. First of all, I hope that this is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Ooh. I'll tell you what, that's looser than I want it to be. But it's Loctite, perfect, really. Wow. Wow. Now that's not I won't call it a fail, but it's not well, shocking. I'm showing 7. It's bigger than it should have been. Oh no. I'm measuring 750. See, I didn't lie. So now I'm curious though. A little bit looser than I was hoping it would be. 750 with that guy. Let's just try this tool. But we're not going to do any more boring with this today. Loosen the spring up. Easier said than done, by the way. Make sure I'm at 90, 90. 90, 90. Not quite right yet. Anybody knows how to do this better than me? Because I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm playing. Leave a comment. Shit. It's not. It's a couple thousand's too big. But you know what? It's Loctite good. It'll be wonderful for Loctite. Oh, it feels nice in there. Ooh, does that feel nice? And just a matter of tightening it up some, so that's pretty exciting. So I think we're gonna call this bad boy done. Okay, there's no use. I wanna leave the sleeve sticking out just a little bit. It'll be our wear indicator. If I need to solder it. If I need to weld it, I'll weld it. So I was hoping this would be a snugger fit. Hope's not a plan, I screwed up. But I've got another one to try, and I could always do the other side. I'm not going to, because the other side, this isn't really worn. So that's it for today. Let me use some high-strength Loctite on this, permanent Loctite. They make Loctite for sleeves. They make them for stuff like this. We use them in engines, diesel engines, which burn coal, and it'll be wonderful. So thanks for watching. All right, so just a follow-up here, because it bothers me that this is a little bit, I wanted it snug. It's a perfect fit. It's nice. Look at that. There's like a couple thousand clearance, but that's not what I was aiming for. So let me show you what we got here. Now that I'm on the bench, I can do this a little bit more carefully. When I measure this little bushing I made up, we're going to call it 748. Okay, so I'm 2 thousandths shy of 750. My bad on that, okay? And you know, we all know you got to use the same measuring tool. Well, fail. So then you take this little hoompadoopadee, use the same measuring tool, but this, I don't know if you can see it well or not. It's a little spring-loaded thingy. You put it in there, hold it straight up and down, make sure you're at your maximum distance, release it, tighten it down. And then let's see what we get for measurement here. So remember, I'm at 747, maybe 748. What the hell? Oh, I screwed it up. Here, start back at 750. 25, 50. And I'm at 55, so I'm a total of 7 thousandths off. That's a mistake. I'd almost like to do it again. 754, I'll call it. Let's see if you can see that or not. Probably can't see for shit. But that's 754. So I'm maybe 6 thousandths off total. It's not going to matter. Loctite will make that up. It'll be rock solid. It'll be wonderful. The next guy that has to take it out will be cursing me forever, especially if I use permanent Loctite. So that's what I'm going to do. Now the real question is, if I was super motivated, I've got another one I could make. So, but I don't know if I'm that motivated. I might be. And this one I could do, because this one I could make, and I could make it so that it equals 753 or 754. So that might be fun to do that. Now the problem is when I do that, I've got to put this down and measure this and get that all done. It's a little bit of effort. You got to drill that out again. It's a big piece of steel. Saturday afternoon, 1:18. How motivated I am to do that. At this time, not terribly, but I may take a look at the other one because, you know, some Loctite in this thing, this is good to go. And if I was really excited, I could do a little bit of ticky-tack welding on that bad boy and should be good to go. So let me take a look at the other ones and see what the other one looks like. Because this still has to be machined, this pin. No, that's sorry, this machine is already finished. This pin is already finished machining, got my slot, got my grease, Zerk fitting in it. So we're good to go here. And that's what I want to see. Oh, is that nice? Woo-wee. Beautiful. Man, sadly, it won't make a difference in any of the wood we're cutting, but we're having fun. But I got to slot this. So for you observant ones out there, when I was drilling this hole in there, I was using the end mill mistake, because the end mill ended up, when it cut to where I drilled my hole through, it broke off. So I had to drill it from the other side. So I did that, yanked it out, welded it back shut, and turned it down a lathe. You can't tell I did it, except I told you. So let's take a look at the other pulley and see what she looks like. All right, guys. So let me just finish up putting the groove in this pin. And the deal is we want grease to come out of this hole where we've got our tap to start fitting over here, and then go down these two slots. Total of 4 inches, measured from the old ones. So what I did is I marked it, started at 4 inches. This is my hole. I wanted to get it vertical, so I put a pin in here, put it in the milling machine, make sure I was vertical. I've got my vertical height set to 0. I know I want to go up 120 thousandths of an inch. So all I gotta do is speed this bad boy up because it's such a small end mill. It's a rounded end mill. You have to turn more RPMs to get it to do anything. So let's see here. I think we're just gonna change speeds on it and be done with it. So that, put in high gear here. Let's try that. There we go. There's high speed. And now we're doing it at 500. After about 1,000, let's take tiny cuts. Not even getting there. Let's get total distance I want to go is 120 thousandths. And now you turn the automatic feed off as you get closer to the end. Do that by hand. And we're doing baby cuts. Right down. Well, I think we have to listen more RPM. You can't see it, but I've got a digital readout. I'll go like 4 inches. Looking good. Woo-wee. So there's a little bit involved here. This is not really hard, but you have to turn this mill fairly quickly because it's a small diameter, and you want the cutting edge of it to be spinning in inches per minute. Actually, there's books, there's papers and stuff like that to tell you how fast it needs to spin. You can kind of get the feel for this once you've done it a while. Additionally, the horizontal movement on the table, it's automatic. You can't see that. I got a lever. I push left and I can push right to make it a smooth and consistent cut. That you got to be careful with too, because you go too quick for your speed, you will break off the end mill. So it's kind of a trade-off. How fast do you go on the spinning of the bit? Too fast, it gets hot. Too slow, it doesn't cut well enough. So there's a little bit of experience here. Not that I'm very experienced at this, but it's working pretty good actually. I don't know if I need to go that far, but I'll go more. I think I'm going to speed up some. It looks pretty far. It looks, I'll do one more cut because it's free. And I'll do it nice and slowly. And then we'll call it done. After I put my zircon putty in. I want to be able to see his numbers here, but I can see him. beauteous. I think we're going to call this thing quits. And what you don't see is when I transitioned from that 8-inch pulley belt, or belt pulley wheel, whatever you call that thing, to this, you have to put the vise back on, you got to trim the vise. It's not hard, but it all takes time. So, hope you enjoyed this, guys. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, leave a comment. Back to sawmilling Wednesday.